He 29 meters hates that I 32F use the term babysitting. To some this might seem silly, but it's causing problems in my relationship and I guess I'm in need of some advice. My boyfriend has a 7-year-old daughter whom I love dearly. Let's call her A. She is sweet, smart, funny, just all around a great kid. She lives with her mom during the week and with us on the weekend. I have been in her life since she was a toddler and we have formed a bond over the years. I have always made sure to show her that I am a safe space for her, that she can come to me for anything. I always make birthdays and holidays special for her, etc. However, I don't view her as my daughter and she does not view me as a second mom. She's respectful, but our relationship has never been a mother-daughter type of relationship and I believe it works just fine for the both of us. A year ago, he and I had our first child together. So here is where our issue comes in. Every Saturday and sometimes Sundays he will leave A at the house with me and go to work. To me, I'm babysitting A. I'm watching her. He hates that I look at it that way. He is extremely offended by the term babysitting and I'm not sure why. It is not meant to be offensive. When she's in my care she is well taken care of. Sometimes we will stay in and other times we'll enjoy the day outside of the house and strangers can't tell that she is not my daughter. His argument is that if it were my bio daughter I wouldn't look at it as babysitting, which I agreed. He believes that he doesn't have to show me any appreciation for caring for her while he is away or even thank me. He feels that me viewing it as babysitting means that I don't see her as part of our family, which is the farthest from the truth. I've sat and thought about it and I am having trouble understanding his POV. Maybe someone can help me see it from his perspective. Is it terrible that believe that when we leave so with me that I am babysitting her? Does that mean that I can't truly love? This is not about words. It's not even about babysitting. It's about his perceptions of intimacy. He feels that babysitting is something that outsiders do, and that so long as you use the term, you're standing aloof from the family. He probably knows you're not mom on the one hand, but he also hopes you're not contract labor on the other. So you must either respect his feeling about that or you must explain to him that you don't intend that, even though he takes it that way. Which will be awkward, because if you have to explain it, you're rationalizing something that isn't actually rational. He didn't argue himself into this position, and you likely won't argue him out of it. But remember, when you say babysitter, he hears hired help, not partner. She lives with her mom during the week and with us on the weekend. Every Saturday and sometimes Sundays he will leave A at the house with me and go to work. So when does he see her? No wonder you two have such a great bond. Her own father is barely there. You make more working full-time and do all the childcare and do all the housework? Girl, tell him to stop working weekends and spend time with his daughter. And tell him to do his share of the chores too. He believes that he doesn't have to show me any appreciation for caring for her while he is away or even thank me. Ew. Just ew. He should be showing you appreciation for this and so much more. Not because it's an outsider thing, but because you're his and he should appreciate you. You can babysit family members. People do it all the time for their younger siblings, nieces, nephews, cousins, grandchildren, etc. The problem seems to be more him trying to force this weird pseudo-mother role than neither you nor his daughter are interested in, and how he takes what you do for him in regards to watching her for granted. He believes that he doesn't have to show me any appreciation for caring for her while he is away, or even thank me. I think the issue is he's kind of a jerk, and by you calling it babysitting at one points out he's not spending that time with her, and maybe that's a deep sore spot for him. Possibly resentment. 2. That you're entitled to something for it. Yeah, no. Like appreciation for keeping his child alive and well. Or does he feel like he has a built-in, other mother? Not in the button eyes kind of way. How much of her care has he been active in throughout the years? Does he take care of the child you have together, or does he expect you to do everything? You can babysit family members. I hope you get into our blended families and our stepparents and figure out how to undermine the sexism running in your household. A child that is not your child is not your responsibility. Everything you do in the child's direction is a generosity. Until and unless you come to an agreement about responsibility you share as housemates and as parents to your shared child. Verbal appreciation is the least he can offer. You may not want to label yourself a stepmom or label her stepdaughter. There are many labels people use when they are instrumental in raising a person. You certainly have been instrumental in helping to raise her. And any thoughts or comments that undermine that indicate nothing more than confusion. You helping to raise her is a fact. Acknowledged, appreciated, owned or not. I'm of the mind that such great responsibility be taken intentionally, and not by happenstance, especially when it comes to females in household dynamics. I don't think the problem here is your use of the word babysitter. Every Saturday and sometimes Sundays he will leave at the house with me and go to work. Why is he not spending his custodial time with his daughter? He and his ex need to make new arrangements so his daughter is actually having time with her father. He believes that he doesn't have to show me any appreciation for caring for her while he is away or even thank me. He doesn't think of you as a babysitter because he would have to pay a babysitter and say thank you to a babysitter. He thinks of you as my female in my house whose job it is to care for my children. If I were you, I'd be leaning pretty hard on getting that custody arrangement modified. This doesn't have anything to do with how much you and I like each other. He needs to start being with his daughter and taking care of his daughter. That's why she comes to his house. I'm confused as to why so many people insist Op take on the parenting role when she's already said she isn't a mother to this child. Other than that, I agree with some comments that this arrangement doesn't make sense if he's not there. It matters less on the wording. Him saying he doesn't need to show appreciation for you looking after his daughter is a red flag. You're not her mom or stepmom and therefore not obligated to take care of her. That's his obligation. But he views you as a housewife that should be obligated to look after all the kids. There is no ring on your finger. Right now, as your BF he's taking advantage of your caretaking and trying to get you to continue doing that. Free of charge by guilt-tripping you. Saying that babysitting isn't for family. Yeah, it isn't. He's entitled. So what's the custody arrangement if you two break up? How much time do you get with A? Oh, none? Because it's not your child? I wish there was a name for when one person watches another person's kid. It's on the tip of my tongue. I swear. Please don't take anything I say as an attack or hostile towards you. You're his personal babysitter. And he is abusing your labor by trying to downplay it. If you were babysitting for his baby mom, or any mom, you would expect to be paid. And this is no different. You're not her mom, and he's expecting you to be without acknowledging the labor associated. This isn't a buy one get one free. You need to get that custody agreement fixed. I would also hate the term that defines the unpaid labor I'm exploiting. Jesus. Some people really need to read the definition of babysitter before commenting. You aren't a parent, and you're therefore a babysitter. End of story. If anyone doesn't like that, their problem is with the English language. It's not offensive. You are babysitting. He's trying to force something up and his daughter don't even want or need. They're not married. Op isn't her stepmom. Op is not A's parent. If they split, she has no moral or legal obligation to A because she's not her parent. And why is A coming when dad has to work? They should be focused on changing her visitation so dad can actually be a dad instead of hoping his girlfriend will be a pseudo-mom. They can still be a family unit. As long as Op isn't treating A badly, and A doesn't see her as a second mom, there's not much of an issue besides dad's feelings being hurt. Who cares if she calls it babysitting as long as A is taken care of and doesn't feel neglected? Honestly, I think he feels bad because he doesn't see his daughter much the 2 days he has her. Op calling it babysitting probably makes him feel some type of way because he's not parenting A when he should be. Well, if he didn't use you as his daycare, then you wouldn't be babysitting. TBH, I'd be more bothered by the fact he only gets his child on weekends and chooses work instead. Parenting his child doesn't appear to rank very highly on his list of priorities. He could change his work schedule, change his job, or change the custody schedule. But it's easier for him to dump his daughter's care on you. Gross. I am in a co-parenting situation. Op is not the step-parent, so calling it babysitting is appropriate. If the relationship was to end, she would have zero ability to see the kid again. If she was a step-parent, she may be able to get some visitation if she could prove she was the primary caregiver on the parenting time with her father. I know too many people who lost contact with stepchildren due to divorce. If the grandmother had the child, would it be caring for the child? Would it be babysitting? A grandparent is a biological family member. He needs to not be angry about the word. As a child of divorced parents, I do not see a problem with this at all. My mom and dad have continued to date after the parted ways, but never expected me to call any of their new partners mom or dad. It sounds like you and I have figured out a dynamic that works, and that's all that matters. She already has a mom, and neither of you seems to have a desire for you to also be called mom. He does have a point. If you do view her as part of the family, babysitting can sound a bit impersonal. So I guess you're both right. It's absolutely understandable from your perspective. What do you say other than babysitting when they aren't your child? So instead of him being so offended, he has to see that you do care about A lot and that you meant no harm. Maybe you two can sit down and figure out what to do moving forward. I do think your situation differs from mine though. I was older when my parents split, so I never really had any of their partners truly parenting me. Whereas you are very much functioning as a parent to A, whether you call it that or not. Do you see yourself spending the rest of your life with this family? It might be time for it to have two moms. Edit. I realize I flip-flopped my position between the first and third paragraph. But that's because I can empathize with both you and your boyfriend. I think ultimately my middle paragraph has the advice I'm giving. Sit down together and find a way forward that you both agree with. Or even all three of you. A gets a vote too. Lol. She's 7. You are pretty much child-minding as a parent anyway. They do most stuff themselves. That you are looking after someone else's child is already more than most dude needs to pull his head in. I'd bet that his perspective, whether consciously or not, is that you are the surrogate mother of sorts to A. Not to get too internet diagnosy, but I could see the situation where when you say babysit, his cognitive dissonance hits where he realizes that you are not in fact A's mother. Even though to him you've filled that role. I am with you, though. A is not your child, and if you and her both recognize and appreciate that fact while maintaining your own healthy dynamic, that's what matters most. I'm not sure how to handle him though. Maybe just work around the phrase. Use taking care of instead perhaps?
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Haircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.